no doubt tell your grandchildren about this moment. I have very little doubt. Johnny actually billed me as Al Buckley, in something that I can only assume is that is a more comedy name. Because I'm actually an actor, and I've been acting. I've had loads of jobs in my life, but for the last 4 or 5 years I've been acting. And the reason I decided to do comedy was, to be honest with you, I got pretty sick of just trading in on my looks. What? I'm going to take these off because I can't see. The reason I'm wearing these is because Johnny asked me to come down and talk about a little bit the 50th anniversary of the Summer of Love, 1967. Very important year. Because it was a year that ideas were challenged. The norm was challenged. And this is something that resonates with me in my life, because as a young man, or a young child even, I was always into weird stuff. Now I know that that's kind of like, you know, at best that's kind of a conceited thing to say, and at worst it's the awful kind of Facebook post that's like, I'm mad me, Irish man gets drunk and pukes. You know, you're not exactly a trailblazer there. So, but in reality, I suppose I always felt slightly different. I was into, you know, the complete works of Karl Marx, the films of Ingmar Bergman, and, you know, Barbie dolls. Johnny, how long have I got?
15.
Okay.
12 and a half.
Do not have time to go into my latent homosexuality right now. That's a whole evening. So
whole evening.
What I did was I was drifting along as a young man, and I eventually I got to the point where I was going to go to college, and my parents were in no way surprised that I ended up doing a degree in philosophy and theology. You know, it made sense. What I'm going to talk to you about tonight is context. So in context, I was a drifting young man. When I ended up doing philosophy and theology, they just thought, well, at least we have 4 years off before he moves back home and becomes a burden to us in our twilight years. So that was fine. You know, I was reverting to type, as it were, and you know, or you know, indulging in long-standing pretension. So for 4 years, I did my degree, and I navel-gazed, and I looked at the world through my very deep eyes. And that was all fine, because at that point, I was doing everything I was supposed to do. My brother, he's academic, he has a big job in Google, but I was being the drifter, the indulgent, pretentious asshole. So that was fine. The wheels really started to come off when I became a childcare worker. Because at that point, well, people thought, well, what they'd actually say to me is, are you sure that's what you're meant to be doing? But what they really meant was, are you sure it's okay for you to be around children? No, don't get me wrong. I had Garda clearance. This is the one thing in Ireland that lets you work in social care. Garda clearance, right? It involves putting your name and address, all of your addresses on a piece of paper, sending it off to the Garda, checking forms, all that sort of thing. Do you know what it actually means? Never been caught. And I did this for 12 years. I actually worked in detention. I was the manager of a mother and baby home. Hard as that is to believe, but there it is. And when I eventually left after 12 years, my parents were relieved. My family was relieved. And I was thinking, well, that's nice. That's finally, you know, that's like an expression like, well, they're concerned about my long-term mental health, they're concerned about my well-being. Not so much. Really what they were thinking was, it would only be a matter of time. But despite the fact that I worked for 12 years in possibly the most emotionally draining, responsibility-laden, completely challenging line of work. Never killed anyone. Not one reprimand. No appearances at a tribunal. Yet. What they were really thinking was, at last, when I became an actor, he's reverting to type. He's back in context. So if he appears on Prime Call in a, easily identifiable garter fit, what's the thing called? Photo fit. People will say, well, actor, comedian. Always on the edge. Predictable. In context. And that's what I'm saying. In the Summer of Love 1967, what happened was we challenged all of that. We stopped trying to put people into boxes and labels and assume that we know everything about a person. Young lady there? How are you? Great. Have you ever worn a bikini?
Yeah.
Excuse me. I really apologise, but I have to get a pint. No, I'm coming back is all I'm saying.
That's okay. Your loss, we're getting to bikinis.
I'll be back in 2 minutes, so if you can stretch it out.
Take your time. You've worn a bikini. Now don't worry, this is not going to get weird.
Okay.
But I imagine it was at a beach or a swimming pool, right?
Yeah.
You ever walk down, where are you from?
Newry.
Newry. Ever walk down Newry Main Street in a matching bra and knickers set?
No.
No. At the beach? Normal. Acceptable. Expected. Did you ever go topless?
No.
Again, not going to get weird. Okay. But if you had at the beach in Saint-Tropez, it would have been like, okay, yeah, she doesn't want tan lines or whatever. Walk down Newry Main Street in bra and knickers, whore.
You're right.
Yeah. Which brings us, possibly inevitably, to the subject of masturbation. That train's never late. Okay. As modern, free-thinking, independent people, I think we could possibly all agree, unless there's any Catholics in the room, or Methodists, that masturbation is a healthy part of sexual development, and at times a necessary stroke obsessional release. Okay. Do you ever catch anyone wanking? Different. We look at those people. Do you ever catch anyone wanking? I'm not going to ask anybody, don't worry. The bikini is about as racy as it's going to get. The last time I was caught wanking, you're not going to believe what the bus driver said. Get off! Get off! Get off! And I'm like, dude, I'm not a machine. This shit takes time. The point is, context. We can all agree, masturbation, nudity, sex, these are healthy things. But what happened in 1967, Summer of Love, was, for the first time ever, people challenged those ideas. Okay? I was struggling for a little bit of material today because I'm not a comedian. And then yesterday, Leo Varadkar became our Taoiseach. And the internet went wild. Ireland gets its first classist, fascist, elitist Prime Minister. Oh yeah, by the way, he's gay. I don't care. I have no interest in what you do with this. Consenting adults. Accepted. It's what you do with this and this that actually matters. I'm going to... That's kind of serious, like we got kind of deep there. I worked as a childcare worker in a place called Obertown, which is a detention centre for young offenders. And I'm going to finish on this story to add levity. we used to have the crack with the young guys. They weren't always, you know, necessarily brain surgeons or future finders of the cure for cancer. They were mostly not bad lads. They had committed crimes, but mostly they were just kind of gobshites. You know, the guys who ended up holding the bag, they weren't bad lads. I only ever worked with 2 that I, you know, could really judge, but most of them were good. So what we used to do occasionally was, we used to have this story. Most of them were not the most literate people on earth. So I'd be sitting there and I'd be reading the newspaper, and there'd be 2 lads from Longford, or Summerhill, or Clonmel, or whatever in the room, whatever it was. And I'd say, oh Jesus, look at them. 2 lads from Kilkenny, arrested because they were going to try and fly to the sun. They were building a rocket. Of course, that was just like throwing the hook in the water, you know, and they'd oh yeah? What happened? Well, they were taken into custody and they've been charged. And they said, I used to get various responses to this, but one lad one day, he said, that's bullshit. And I said, oh, how so? He said, oh, you can't fly to the sun. And I said, oh, no. They were going to go at night time. They caught me out. Best response ever. I thought I was an academic, reasonably well-educated man. He comes back and he says, you can't fly to the sun at night. It's not there at night. Thank you very much. Good night.